Morning, Laos, 2009. Hyeonseo Lee is heading to the airport. Her phone rings. The voice on the other end says 4 words that stop her heart. Your family was caught. She just guided her mother and brother across 2,000 miles of China. They made it through 2 police checkpoints on buses. They crossed the border into Laos. Freedom was 40 kilometers away. Now, they're in a Laotian prison and she's broke. It's been 12 years since she last saw them. 12 years since she crossed a frozen river at age 17, expecting to be gone for a week. 12 years of hiding in China under a fake name, learning to pass as Chinese, surviving interrogations that should have ended in her execution. But here's what nobody expected. A stranger is about to walk up to her in a coffee shop and change everything. How does a 17-year-old girl escape the most isolated country on Earth? And what makes her risk everything to go back? 1995. Hyeonseo is 14 years old. She lives in a town on the North Korean side of the Yalu River, close enough to China that on clear nights, she can see something impossible. Lights, entire cities glowing across the water, while her side sits in total darkness. Power outages are constant now. Her town goes black for hours, sometimes days. The governments say it's because of American sanctions, because the evil imperialists want to starve the Korean people. But Hyeonseo stands at her window and watches Chinese cities burn bright all night long, and the math doesn't work. One day, her mother brings home a letter from a co-worker's sister. Hyeonseo reads it once and feels something crack inside her. The letter says, "When you read this, our family of 5 will not exist anymore. We haven't eaten in 3 weeks. We're lying on the floor together, waiting to die. Our bodies are too weak to move." This is the first time Hyeonseo learns that people in her country are starving. She thought her life was normal. Her family wasn't rich, but they had food. She never went hungry. She spent her childhood singing a song called "Nothing to Envy," believing North Korea was the greatest nation on earth, believing Kim Il-sung was a god who didn't even need to use the bathroom. Then the famine hit. Over 1 million people died. Hyeonseo walks past the train station one day and sees a woman lying on the ground, dead, while a skeletal child stares at his mother's face, and nobody helps because everyone is focused on keeping their own families alive. She starts seeing bodies in the river. Dead North Koreans who tried to cross and drowned or got shot by border guards floating downstream toward the Yellow Sea. The current carries them past her town like a constant reminder. Stay here, and you might end up just like them. But Hyeonseo's town is different from the rest of North Korea. It's a border town. People here have connections. Some families know the guards. Some have relatives in China. Information leaks across. She secretly watches Chinese TV channels when the power works. She sees cities, cars, people eating in restaurants, abundance she was told didn't exist in the evil capitalist world. At age 17, in 1997, Hyeonseo makes a decision. She's going to cross the river, just for a short visit. She has distant relatives in China. She'll stay a week, maybe 2, see what life is really like over there, then come back. She doesn't tell her mother the truth. She says she's visiting a friend. Her family has connections to border guards. They help her cross. The river is frozen solid. She walks across ice that could crack and kill her, walks toward those lights she's been watching her entire life. She thinks she'll be back in a few days. She has no idea this short visit will turn into 14 years. No idea that she's about to become an illegal refugee in China with no papers, no protection, and a death sentence waiting if she's ever caught. No idea that every day for the next decade, she'll wake up knowing that one wrong word, one slip of her accent, one suspicious police officer could mean torture, prison camp, or public execution back in North Korea. She just walks across the ice toward the lights. Behind her, everything she knows disappears into darkness. China. Hyeonseo is 17. Alone, living with distant relatives who can't officially acknowledge her. She's illegal. She doesn't exist. If Chinese authorities discover she's North Korean, they'll send her back. And going back means prison camp. It means her entire family gets punished for her escape. 3 generations of guilt. So she becomes someone else. She studies Mandarin Chinese like her life depends on it because it does. She watches how Chinese people move, talk, laugh. She practices controlling her accent, flattening the North Korean tones that mark her as foreign. She learns to hide fear behind a calm face. For months, it works. Then one day, someone reports her. A neighbor, maybe. Someone who noticed she doesn't quite fit. Chinese police show up and take her to the station for questioning. The interrogation room is small. 2 officers. They tell her someone accused her of being North Korean. They're going to test her, ask questions, see if she's really Chinese or if she's lying. Hyeonseo's heart is beating so hard, she thinks they can hear it. She knows if she fails this test, everything ends. She thinks about her mother back home. If Hyeonseo gets sent back, the government won't just punish her. They'll punish her mother, her whole family. That's how the system works. The officers start asking questions in Chinese. Where are you from? What's your hometown? Why are you here? Hyeonseo answers. Her Chinese is good. She studied for months. But good enough? They bring out newspapers. Chinese newspapers with difficult characters. Read this, they tell her out loud. She reads. Stumbles once, catches herself, keeps going. Her hands are shaking, but she forces them still. The officers watch her face. They're looking for tells. Hesitation. Fear. Anything that reveals she's pretending. Inside, Hyeonseo is screaming. Outside, she's calm. She learned this growing up in North Korea. You survive by controlling what people see. You smile when you're terrified. You stay silent when you want to scream. You become whatever you need to be to stay alive. The interrogation lasts hours. More questions, more tests. They ask about Chinese culture, Chinese geography, things a real Chinese person would know. Hyeonseo answers everything. She's been preparing for this moment without knowing it, absorbing Chinese TV, Chinese conversations, Chinese life. Finally, one officer turns to the other, says something Hyeonseo will remember for the rest of her life. This was a false report. She's not North Korean. They let her go. Hyeonseo walks out of the police station shaking so badly she can barely stand. It's a miracle. She passed. But she also learns something that will define the next decade of her life. She can never relax, never let her guard down. One mistake, one moment of carelessness, and the miracle won't repeat. So she disappears deeper into China. She moves to Shanghai, a massive city where it's easier to hide among millions. She gets fake Chinese ID cards. She finds work at a trading company. She builds a completely false identity, a Chinese life that has nothing to do with who she really is. For 10 years, she lives like this, always watching, always careful, speaking Chinese, thinking Chinese, pretending to be Chinese. She makes friends who don't know the truth, has relationships with people she can never fully trust, builds a life on top of a lie that could collapse any second. But she's alive, and in 2008, she makes another dangerous decision. She's going to South Korea. 2008. Seoul, South Korea. After 3 months of interrogation by National Intelligence Service agents who thought she might be a Chinese spy, Hyeon-seo is finally accepted as a real North Korean defector. She's free. Actually free. No more hiding. No more fake identity. But freedom is complicated. North and South Korea speak the same language, but 67 years of separation created a massive gap. She has to learn English now, her third language, because it matters in South Korea in ways she never expected. She faces prejudice. Some South Koreans treat North Korean defectors like aliens. She has to hide her background to get jobs. She goes through an identity crisis. Am I North Korean? South Korean? Where do I belong? She starts studying for university entrance exams, begins building a real life under her real name. Then her phone rings. The voice on the other end delivers news that changes everything. North Korean authorities intercepted money she sent to her family. As punishment, they're going to relocate her mother and brother to a desolate area in the countryside. Forced relocation. It's a death sentence delivered slowly. Her family needs to escape. Now, Hyeonseo books a flight back to China. She's going to the border region, the area she swore she'd never see again. Her mother and brother will cross into China near a town called Changbai. She'll meet them on the Chinese side. Then they'll travel 2,000 miles across China to Laos, reach the South Korean embassy, and get them to freedom. It sounds simple. It's not. Her mother fakes her own death, pays a doctor to forge a death certificate so the authorities think she's gone. Her brother uses connections to border guards to get them across. At dawn, Hyeonseo waits by a derelict house near the riverbank, while Chinese and North Korean patrols pass every few minutes. Dogs are barking. Security is heightened because some high-ranking family just tried to escape. When her mother and brother finally appear on the Chinese side, soaking wet and shivering, Hyeonseo can't even embrace them. Too dangerous. Someone might see. She puts Chinese clothes on them, tells them not to speak, and gets them to a hotel. That night they cry and talk and plan. She has 2,000 miles ahead of them. They travel by bus across China. The journey takes about a week, then their luck runs out. It's China's National Day. Police presence is massive. Their bus gets stopped within 5 minutes. A military soldier boards. He's checking IDs, looking passengers in the eyes. Hyeonseo's brother is the only male passenger on the bus. He's thin, dark skin from years of North Korean sun and no sunscreen. He stands out. The soldier walks directly toward him, 3 steps away. 2 steps. Hyeonseo's mind races. If the soldier asks for ID, it's over. Her brother will panic. His Chinese is terrible. They'll be arrested, sent back, executed. She does the only thing she can think of. She stands up, walks toward the soldier, and shoves her camera in his face. Starts taking pictures. The soldier's stunned, yells at her. "It's illegal to take pictures here," she smiles. "I'm so sorry, I didn't know, I'll delete them right away." The soldier is flustered, embarrassed. Every passenger is staring. He turns around and leaves the bus. 8 hours later, another bus, another stop. This time, it's Chinese police, checking IDs, asking questions, looking for North Korean defectors. They call her brother's fake name once, twice, 3 times. He doesn't move. His face turns completely dark. Hyeonseo sees him shaking. She springs up. "He's deaf and dumb, I'm his chaperone." The officer looks suspicious. Then behind her, a grunting sound. Her mother is pretending to be mentally challenged, making noises, playing the role. "She's with me too," Hyeonseo says. "Also deaf and dumb." The officer looks shocked, asks the bus driver and ticket collector if it's true. They're annoyed by the delay. They confirm it. Yes, it's true. The officer gets off the bus. Every single passenger heard Hyeonseo's family speaking Korean the entire trip. They all know the truth, but nobody says anything. Another miracle. They reach the Laos border, cross into Laos. Hyeonseo pays almost all her money to bribe the border guards. She says goodbye to her family at the last bus station. A broker will take them the rest of the way. She heads to the airport. Then her phone rings. The broker's voice is flat. "Your family was caught crossing into Laos. They're in prison 40 kilometers from the border." Hyeonseo's head spins. She tells the taxi driver to turn around, goes back to the border area, stares at the mountains wondering which one they crossed. She spent 2,000 miles getting them here. Now they're in a Laotian prison and she has no plan. For 50 days, she goes back and forth between the immigration office and the police station, bribing officials, negotiating, begging. The authorities finally give her a number. Pay this fine per person, US dollars, and we'll release them. She's almost out of money. She's already borrowed twice from a friend in South Korea. She goes to a coffee shop to think. The whole world feels dark. She has no options left. Then a voice. "Excuse me, are you a traveler? I saw you a few weeks ago and you're still here." Hyeonseo looks up. It's a white man from the bus. She barely remembers him. Her English is terrible. She uses a cell phone dictionary to explain her situation. The man listens, makes a phone call, turns back to her. "I will help you." She can't believe it. Why would a total stranger help her? Her entire life has been filled with people who lie, manipulate, betray. This makes no sense. The man says, "Wait here." He leaves. Hyeonseo isn't even sure he'll come back. He comes back with a fistful of cash. "By the way, my name is Dick." She realizes she didn't even know his name. Dick Stolp, an Australian traveler. He goes with her to the prison, pays the fine. Her mother and brother are released. 3 other North Korean defectors come out with them. Dick paid for all of them. Hyeonseo's mother runs to her like the wind, embraces her, sobs. She looks awful, thin, exhausted, but alive. Hyeonseo thanks Dick with all her heart. "Why are you helping me?" Dick looks at her. "I'm not helping you. I'm helping the North Korean people." Something shifts in Hyeonseo's understanding of the world. Her whole life, she learned that people are dangerous, that kindness is a trap, that you survive alone. But this stranger just proved that wrong. They're not done yet. She bribes police officials to get her family to the capital without being stopped. Instead, the police betray her. hand her family to security officers, arrest them again. Hyeonseo is interrogated, accused of human trafficking for trying to help North Koreans reach safety. She has to borrow even more money from her friend, pay another fine, leave Laos immediately. Her family spends 3 more months in prison, then 3 months waiting in the South Korean embassy. Hyeonseo waits in Seoul. 1 full year passes from the moment she left Laos until she finally sees them again. When they arrive, they spend 6 months in interrogation centers and resettlement facilities, standard procedure for North Korean defectors. Finally, they're released. Hyeonseo and her mother and brother sit together at a small kitchen table in Seoul, drinking tea, watching the sun rise over a city where nobody will execute them for hoping. 14 years of separation, 2,000 miles across China, 2 bus checkpoints, 50 days in Laos, a stranger with a fistful of cash, multiple arrests, multiple miracles. They made it. Years later, Dick Stolp sees Hyeonseo's TED Talk and contacts her. They reunite on an Australian TV show. They still talk today. 1 act of kindness. 1 stranger who decided to help. 1 girl who escaped twice and brought her family with her the second time.